Let's talk about the future.
Are we having fun yet?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about Patrick Baldwin Jr. I wanted to talk about a player that more than likely we will be able to get our hands on. Pause. But it is a guy that we'll be able to grab in the draft if it presents itself. So overall, it seems like most of the draft mock drafts that I've seen thus far, which is really early to do a mock draft, but they have him around 8 to about 12. And I'm assuming that the San Antonio Spurs will probably be able to grab him, especially with so much talent even ahead of him. But I want to talk about him a little bit. So he's a small forward / power forward. He's 6'9" and 220 pounds. Now, the thing is, I've actually seen him range from 220 to 230 on some websites, but it seems like this is pretty consistent, and ESPN has him at 220 as well. So we're just going to go ahead and say, all right, he is 220 pounds. And with that being said, one thing that I want to point out before we even get into like his playing style is his character, man. So he committed to Milwaukee over Duke. And it was really, this is my opinion, I could be completely wrong, but I think it was really to benefit his dad. He is here we go. Oh, sorry about that. Here we go. Here's a quote from him talking about his dad. So he said, "The thought of playing for my dad was too good to pass up." And what I was going to say was, he's a player that a lot of scouts and a lot of NBA teams have their eye on. The fact that he would go to Milwaukee over Duke just speaks volumes of what type of guy he is. Because if anything, this will hurt him. This can only hurt him, and it would benefit his dad. And I think that that's pretty awesome. So also, I wanted to talk about this as well. So if we're talking about mentality wise, he is a gigantic Kobe fan. And as we can see here, unfortunately, I hate that we even have to go through this, but this is 94 weeks ago and we know what happened then, right? But he's talking about Kobe and just how he inspired him and how the fadeaway, the art of the fadeaway, he used to watch that and try to emulate that. So a lot of his move sets he got from Kobe, and he also wore 24. So he really, really adored Kobe. And as you can see, even from his social media pages, he has Kobe as his profile picture here. And then if you go over to his Twitter, he has Kobe once again. So this is a guy that he really does look up to. I skimmed through his Twitter a little bit, just being a creep. And every single thing is about basketball, and they know that's what you're supposed to do. So I'm not gonna give them too much credit for that, but they know that's what you're supposed to do. But overall, I just want to say this, and even this shot right here, this is beautiful. As far as his skill set, what type of player is he? Who is this guy? So I just want to go ahead and give my initial thoughts. It's not a guy that I'm gonna continue watching him. I'll have more information on it as we go on, but what I've seen from him thus far is that he is a pretty good shot creator. He's a pretty good shooter. So he is as I said, 6'9", small forward / power forward. His athleticism isn't crazy, but one thing that he is really good at is creating space. And as you can see here, even the nice little fadeaway. And I think that a guy like this, I'm trying to think of like the future, right? Like, how could this match up with a Joshua Primo? I think that you could have a pretty nice, well, not even Josh Primo, even if I'm thinking about Joe Wieskamp, I think you could have a really nice balance of players with that, because you will have Joe Weezy, who is a spot up shooter. You have Primo, who can basically do everything. And then you'll have a modern day big who can kind of create his own shot and create his own space. And yeah, pretty high from what I've seen. He's a pretty high IQ player as well. Pretty good playmaker. So last thing I wanted to show you guys was just some things that other people are talking about when it pertains to him. So here is NBA Scouting Live, and these things usually change quite a bit as the year goes on and when we get closer. But thus far, pros, decent shooter, can post up smaller players, excels at shooting on off-ball motion plays, and that's kind of what we saw just the second ago. Adequate playmaker, that's what I said. Solid rebounder, adept at collecting steals and blocks, and good athlete. And I would say that he's a little, this is just my opinion, I think he's a little slow defensively, just a little bit from what I've seen, but nothing crazy, but he is a good athlete. Struggling to adjust to college 3-point line, yeah. Can be reluctant to take threes, lacks an elite first step off the dribble, can display spotty shot selection, can tend to be unfocused defensively. Well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just the unfocused defensively and rather than just his footwork. And maybe that's just me not knowing what I'm talking about. But his effort on the defensive end can be lagging. It's okay. Well, yeah. Well, I was completely right. But if we're going for pure scorer, okay, a guy that can score, a guy that can shoot and put up buckets, I think that he matches up pretty well. And as far as his personality and his character, he's definitely a Spur. No doubt about it. He is definitely a Spur. I've seen some interviews with him. He would fit in just fine. He seems like a really cool, laid back and good kid. So we'll see what happens. You guys give me your thoughts in the comments. If you know anything about Patrick Baldwin Jr., I could see him matching up pretty well, for us. But just let me know what you think. Till next time, guys, I'll just get with you later. And deuces.